I had to get rid very early from that stupid sentence, don't tell, show. I don't believe in this, because telling creates reality. People don't talk about something. Well, they do, but what's important is what happens between them. So when you understand that, it becomes like a war, it becomes like a war scene.
Let's start with Etty. In which point in your life did you read the diaries for the first time?
Yeah.
And how did you feel about them?
But shouldn't we tell first what is it, Etty? Okay, so it's a series that it's my last project. We premiered it in Venice a couple of months ago. It's a mini-series about the life and the writing of a woman called Etty Hillesum. She was a Dutch woman writing a diary in Amsterdam during 41, 42. Right now, we are screening this series in cinema, and it's going very well, and it's makes me very happy. I encountered Fred with this book 15 years ago, I think.
Sorry, how many?
15.
15 years ago.
Yeah, it was actually recommended to me by my therapist. Yeah.
Of course.
You mean the sky inside me, right?
Yeah, exactly. The sky inside me. It's the name in Hebrew. It's called different every place, and it's one of those books that you feel immediately that kind of life-changing book, and it's going to be near your bed for the rest of your life. And it was clear that it's impossible to do a series out of it. So I said, yeah, maybe we should try, and it took years. Yeah. 10 years ago, I started to write some script. It was a script.
But immediately you wanted to adapt it? As you read it, you said, I must make it into something, a movie, a TV show?
It's the thing I do when I meet some, it's inevitable. If I read something, I said, well, could I do something from it? So, yeah, even though it didn't make sense at all. But yeah, I started writing it as a feature film. By the end, it became a miniseries, which I did in Europe. It's a French, German, Dutch production, mainly for Arte, the channel.
Being a diary, so naturally, like an inner monologue. Take us though, hand in hand, and tell us how you moved it, how you transformed it from being a diary into being this mini-series, which has like a
really cinematic
world to it.
Yeah. Well, it just took many years. I think it was clear that I don't want to rely only on voiceovers, and I tried to make other devices how to approach it. One of the ideas was to turn her writing into dialogues. So if I take a lot of her words and sentences and ideas and find a way to turn it into a dialogue where she speaks it to someone else, that could help. And then I even found another device, which is a kind of, I would say, podcast that there is in the...
Everybody has a podcast now, including Etty.
Well, yeah,
even in World War II.
Yeah. Well, yeah, mainly it's a radio show, and it's based on a real character who was a radio person, a very good friend and a lover of Etty. So I imagined that she gave him all the diaries. So I imagined not only that she gave him, but also read it for him, and that became kind of the source of all the parts of the diary, all the voiceovers, and then it kind of got some kind of context and it's not floating in the air.
And if I think about a thread running through your all your TV creations, everything you did is a lot to do with therapy. So I'm sure this is a question you've been asked before. What do you have with therapy?
Yeah, it's like it's haunting me. Like this one, you know, it's in the book, right? So I can say that's what the main thing, the main relationship in the book. Well, I mean, therapy is a very center scene in my life. I'm in therapy for all my life, and I even went to study psychology before I went to study cinema. I think one of the interesting things in therapy is that we are living in a world that boundaries are not there anymore. You don't have boundaries. Everything is allowed, you know, and that's why you see a lot of series about ultra-Orthodox people, because suddenly you have boundaries. You know, you are not allowed, so therapy is one of those places where there is boundaries and there is constant need or wish to break the boundaries, and that creates drama. So that's always interesting, I think. And
you once told me in an interview, in a prior interview, that you are loving and loathing therapy because of its mixture of morality, obscurity.
Yeah, and I think this specific therapy is a good example, because actually Julius Peer, her therapist, is not. This is a very early stage in their working together, and actually takes her to a more spiritual space or phase, which is beyond therapy, which is beyond the talking about the feelings, into a place into a phase of what we should do in our life. So I think that reflects definitely what I said. This series.
Yeah, but this is an exceptional therapy, and I can understand what you mean as a storyteller, what you say towards therapy. But as a director, I think there's a big challenge here, because therapy in the end is two people sitting across each other, or maybe one is lying, and talking. And so how do you make it compellingly cinematic? How do you make it communicative cinema?
You mean therapy in general, not specific one? Yeah.
Because it's something you did in treatment, in Our Boys?
Yeah. Yeah, I had to get rid very early from that stupid sentence, don't tell, show. Mm-hmm. So no. I don't believe in this. Definitely telling, because telling creates reality. Because what you understand is that something happening in the room, which is a new energy, which is a drama. People don't talk about something. Well, they do, but what's important is what happens between them. So when you understand that, it becomes like a war. You know, it becomes like a war scene. So, yeah.
Our time is very short, so we need to step onto the other topics that we prepared here. You, as a TV persona, are somewhat of an exceptional in Israeli landscape, in that you don't depend on Israeli public money. I've just interviewed a director that had a distributor to her film, that after October 7 told her, look, you have a soldier in uniform and I can't release this film in the world.
A soldier in uniform who's the protagonist.
Who's the protagonist, is like a nice character. And you are free from taking that under consideration. What does your stance allow you to do?
It allow me to, first of all, to speak out whatever I want. You know, I can be very critical towards this regime, towards the funds, towards the public money, towards many things here, without being worried about that I'm not going to get their money because I don't need their money. So that's a huge privilege that I have. And of course I can do, I mean, I did a series called Our Boys, which was about a Palestinian boy killed by a group of Israelis, and that was sponsored by HBO completely. So I could do whatever I want. I didn't have to censor myself or to think every minute. I mean, I did that because I wanted to be responsible, but I didn't have any outdoor pressure on me to do so. So that is a huge privilege that I have, that I don't rely on Israeli money, and I need to be very wise in using this privilege.
Is that the advice that you would give to young people doing their first steps in this industry?
Avoid Israeli money.
Avoid Israeli money, because you know, on the other hand, it has like a serious repercussions on Israeli market.
Well, if they can, you know, of course, I would recommend that. It's really, it's impossible for. I mean, it's not really a path that you can take by your own. It just happened or not. So. I would say that even if I would be here and depend on Israeli money, I would try to think carefully what kind of money is it. Is it a fund that is I don't know, violating human rights? Is it a fund that is trying to please this regime that we have now? Can I be, or am I in danger to be part of this government's propaganda? So I think you have to be very cautious when you work now with Israeli money and try to take the right money as much as possible.
Are you still being regarded as an Israeli filmmaker, an Israeli TV person?
I don't feel that there is a true problem with Israeli creators. The problem that I know is the problem with Israeli money, especially Israeli public money. I never felt any limitation being an Israeli, and you know, my name and my look, you for sure you cannot get away with.
Yeah.
So no, and I think, you know, when we went to Venice, and there was a lot
you were
of,
the only Israeli screening something in Venice.
Yeah, but because we were not an Israeli production, then it felt, you know, I didn't feel any resistance to it, so I felt okay.
Maybe there should be like a independent, non-governmental money. I don't know, like the pies, for example.
See?
She said that maybe, I mean, she's thinking maybe, I'm just translating
loud,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, she thought maybe mifal hapais is
Yeah, well,
is the solution.
I mean, this is something I cannot. I know how hard it is to make things, you know, and it's the worst time ever to do things. So I'm, as I say again, I'm totally privileged. So I'm not in a place to give advices. Just can say my mind.
Yeah. Still, you said something I think that to me was very resonant in Haaretz's podcast, not ours, Lior Kodner's. You said that the hardest thing, I mean, that. What was the exact quote? That the hardest responses that you get for being a leftist, liberal Israeli is in Israel.
It was kind of when I'm asked about anti-Semitism and how people, you know, treat me in the world, in Europe. Am I feel insecure or everything? I always say that yes, there is no place in the West world that I feel hate as I feel here. So what can I say? You know, so I don't. So I feel personally. I feel. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can talk only about myself. Yeah. Yeah. No. All good. I can just speak about my own. And I'm
No,
not
but-
sure that if you live in Israel, I don't know what's your your politics or whatever, but if you live in Israel with a certain politics, I'm not sure that you are aware of the hate you get here. So it goes both ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about your experience during Our Boys and what happened during this TV
Well,
show
Our
and the
Boys was
responses
a
that you
very
got.
extreme. Yeah, when the Prime Minister itself asked people not to watch it, and of course we had live threats on Facebook and everything. It's mostly hate. I've never felt threatened. I felt hated, and that is a really shitty
Yeah,
experience.
especially in your home country. I mean,
Yeah.
That's a shitty thing to feel.
Yeah.
But we don't hate you, and we love everything. And we highly recommend that you watch Etty on a big screen,
Yeah,
right?
in cinema. Mhm.
In the cinema, it's screened in Lev theaters, and it's like.
Yeah, it's a new experience, and I really think like maybe there is a startup here doing television for cinema. I think people are looking for special events. So it's 6 hours, but it's sold out, and it's an amazing surprise for me. And yeah,
I think deservedly so.
thank you.
Really.
Hagai Levi.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you.